The developments around Dhurandhar as the week has gone by has been nothing short of dramatic. While TV news channels every day is having debates about the buzzwords like propaganda and nationalism, everyone with bated breath has been waiting for every celebrity's opinion. Not because they are particularly interested in their take, but because they want to box them politically according to what they feel about the movie. Dhurandhar is absolutely roaring at the box office, in the process to have the second biggest weekend ever for a Hindi film, and I love this not only for Aditya Dhar, not only for Ranveer Singh who desperately needed a commercial blockbuster as a leading man, but what it allows people to understand in regards to the genre of spy and espionage films. Templates that progressively became tiring got a much needed change with this gritty and unapologetic rendition of what goes down when one is introduced into the world of gangs and extremist factions. I want to first address something that particularly perturbs me about the discourse around Dhurandhar, and this has to do with what becomes artistic discussions about the movie. Ranveer Singh, of course, is the main character, the individual who is promoting this movie in every forum he can, so a lot of the attention and expectations were focused on Ranveer. However, what has happened with Akshaye Khanna playing the role of Rahman Dakat, it left such a solid impression with audiences that everyone is speaking about him rather than Ranveer. In the process also dragging Ranveer for getting overshadowed. I specifically have a huge issue with this because it completely disregards what the roles played by both the actors were. There is this meme floating around showcasing Ranveer Singh walking behind Akshay Khanna as Flipper Archie plays in the background and Akshay vibes with the Balochi people. This meme is intended to highlight on how Ranveer more or less has become a glorified extra in his own movie, and I think this is something that one of the subscribers had pointed out as the biggest problem in film discourse today, that not only does it transition to comparative analysis, but it also is the conditioning of film viewers who believe that spies should be portrayed in a flamboyant and over-the-top manner. If understated and realistic, it is often perceived as if they are not doing enough. Ranveer is playing a man who must assimilate within the most violent gangs in Liari, and as the saga is split into two parts, it's essential that he at least blends in the environment and the gang first, and then rages like the animal resting deep within him, which I assume will be part 2. Because we are so used to an aesthetic of spies wearing fedoras, tight t-shirts, flexing their abs, and often transitioning to fun choreography out of nowhere, there is this odd analysis that has been produced of Ranveer being pushed into the sidelines, not realizing that he is exactly doing what a spy should do, playing the long haul game while taking the basic instruction of Nazar and Sabr very seriously. This is actually quite a breath of fresh air when you hear the horror stories of the insecurities of leading men creeping in when they see the edits of their own movies and notice how an actor is stealing their thunder. It often leads to egos getting in the way, actors wanting to take control of not only the film edit but the staging of scenes too. But I just want to remind everyone about a movie like Gully Boy, another movie in which Ranveer Singh was the leading man, but his introduction shot was him in the background with Vijay Varma, having no qualms in understanding what should cater to the script versus a star who is on the high horse hogging up all the attention.
Like, people have come up to me and said Ranveer was okay with the Gully Boy intro, and I was like, I don't know what you're talking about, but he's in out of focus. But I'm like, but it's not his scene at that point, right? But that's his intro, and I'm like, yeah, but he's not Ranveer, he's Murad. It didn't come up at all.
What I find the most hilarious in all of this discourse fighting and name calling that has happened this week is that Akshay Khanna genuinely is nowhere to be seen, and I know from a very core level couldn't care less about the noise. I am sure that even when he bags Best Actor Filmfare Award for a leading man in a negative role, be it for Dhurandhar or Chhava, I am sure he's not going to even appear to accept the award, especially if the function is being conducted on a weekend.
Fantastic actor, we all know that. We all love him, we see so little of him. Monday to Friday he's in Bombay, then he goes to Alibag. Nothing. If he's winning an Academy Award on Saturday, he will not come back because he's in Alibag on Saturday.
I think this is a strategy and movement that will be something that newer actors will actually adopt. Beyond their advertisements, restricting their appearances and updates on social media, so much so that there is at least a mystery surrounding their personality and in turn helping them to at least surprise audiences with their movie roles. A lot of people may be noticing this in their personal lives as well, that there is a sense of lethargy and exhaustion that is creeped in with social media boasting too. What was once a novelty in having a public profile and showcasing the abundant riches in the countries one is exploring, in turn leading to an existential crisis among young people believing that they are not doing enough in their own lives, I think more people are striving towards keeping things private and announcing or appearing in the public eye when it actually means something only. This exhaustion creeping in the personal lives of regular folk like you and me also then makes people apathetic towards every single update made by a celebrity. The novelty of Akshay Khanna being unbothered by the noise and only doing his job, in my opinion, over a period of time will be adopted by many actors. There are two types of celebrities, the ones who don't care and the ones who say that they don't care. And I think Akshay Khanna genuinely could not care about the movie discourse or outcome even of his movies. The man has said this before, that if he were told to change his ways, to be more visible and to be taken more seriously so that he gets more commercial opportunities by being in the right places, he would rather not, because this is not inherently him.
हर पार्टी में मतलब इंटरव्यूज, ये कंट्रोवर्सी, कहीं ना कहीं आपको जिंदा रहना है, करना ही पड़ेगा, नहीं तो आप आउट हो जाएंगे फिल्म इंडस्ट्री से. मैं बोलूँगा मैं आउट हो जाऊँगा, मैं वो ज़्यादा पसंद करूँगा क्योंकि मैं अपने आप को नहीं बदलूंगा.
And I think there is a liberation in this thought process of not being bogged down in the rat race of relevancy, because that way of living will be debilitating, eating you up constantly for the rest of your life, making you assume that you are not doing enough.
जब तक मैं शाहरुख खान बनूंगा तब तक मैं सक्सेसफुल, मैंने सक्सेस देखा ही नहीं, स्टार बना ही नहीं. हमारे 120 करोड़ की आबादी में 15-20 लोग को मौका मिलता है फिल्मों में काम करने एज अ लीडिंग मैन. उससे ज्यादा क्या चाहिए आपको?
I was thinking that this may be the same approach that applies to Cillian Murphy, an actor who absolutely hates the press, hates promotions and interviews, and is just happy to be on set and play a range of characters. And I think this is something that will be adopted by many actors in the future. One thing, however, I want to mention regarding the debates and discussions happening around social media is, first, the case of Hrithik Roshan becoming a national topic of discussion. 2, the critics' stance on the film that is contrary to popular opinion. And 3, the case of censorship in India currently. Hrithik Roshan in a post praised the technical prowess of Dhurandhar, lauding the actors for the manner in which they portrayed their characters, casually leaving out Arjun Rampal. But this did not lead to any discussions. But the line where Hrithik said that he does not agree with the politics of the film and believes that, well, filmmakers should be responsible in what they put out there, is where everyone absolutely lost their mind. The dumbed down connotation that a lot of people have when someone says this is to immediately jump on them and say, Acha, pro-Pakistani, Acha, anti-national, Acha, you love Pakistan. It's immediately to jump to this conclusion. But for anyone who has seen the film and hear this out with a pragmatic mind, you can assume, no one can confirm this or deny this because the man himself has not clarified this, but you can assume it's the subtle nature in which the movie is critical of the UPA government in power in the 2000s and is hopeful for a better nation-loving governance in the future. The criticism that most people have, even though they thoroughly enjoyed the film, right here, is the snippets of praise, especially through Ajay Sanyal's character played by R. Madhavan, that are sprinkled in the dialogues, not because they are organic and natural to be said in the 2000s, but are said for the audience sitting in the theatre in 2025 in a BJP-ruled central government. Ajay Sanyal in the film is portrayed to have his hands tied during the UPA rule, owing to corruption of politicians, waiting for a better tomorrow versus doing anything as the Information Bureau Chief about the problem at hand in the present. Even though Kandahar's hijacking and the parliament attacks happened under the BJP-ruled government, the criticism in the film, specifically by Ajay Sanyal, is levied on the government in power when the counterfeit currency is being transported in the Mulayam Yadav government in UP and when the 2611 attacks happened under the UPA government. The lapse in national security is not criticized in one part of history, but is consistently called out in the other. And I think this is the line in which one is either wholeheartedly praising the film or is criticizing it. Most importantly, I think it's important to have a discourse about it versus going at each other's throat about it. I, however, think that it's rather rich from Hrithik talking about the politics of the movie, while in Fighter, his character was saying the most unnecessarily jingoistic dialogues while beating the enemy. Coming to the critics and their opinion, which is contrary to popular opinion, I think one point of criticism that I absolutely cannot get behind, and this has been said by multiple critics in India, And that is the inflammatory anti-Pakistan narrative that Dhurandhar follows. We are a country that has consistently dealt with acts of terrorism from Pakistan, and I think it's naive for anyone to believe that there is any reason for dialogue, because even in the BJP-ruled government today, we have dealt with attacks in several instances, be it Pulwama or Pahalgam, that has its origins from Pakistan. And if the portrayal of Pakistani gangs and their political affiliations and ties with the ISI in Dhurandhar is of them being savages, animals, extremist, deluded psychopaths wanting nothing but the destruction of India, then I think the movie justifiably portrayed them to be exactly that, because history and even the last few years and the catastrophic events we have dealt with as a nation proves exactly that. If the film is anti-Pakistan and the portrayal is of the most violent gangs of Pakistan who actually work in collusion with political affiliations and the ISI to attack India, I'm glad it is. Anyone who disagrees with it can convey the same with passionate disagreement rather than wanting to name call, abuse and send death and threats to critics. I may disagree with you, but your opinion of a film is not going to make me froth in the mouth and hate you. My nationalism and love for the nation is not so fickle that your contrarian viewpoint about a movie sways me. Always call out the demerits of a movie, what you despise, what you like and don't like. Call out the critics too. It's naive for any critic to believe that they can go on criticizing films and artists but never have the tables turn. But when the same discourse transitions to people becoming keyboard warriors, wanting people to die for the said opinion, that's where I draw the line. Finally, I think when it comes to censorship in film, we have been very clear about the fact that ruling parties, whenever they have been at the center, have curtailed art that is critical of the said government. This was true for the Indira Gandhi-led government back in the day, and this is true for the government today. Why is it that movies like Punjab 95 with Diljit Dosanjh don't get a release? Peace directed by Dibakar Banerjee is in limbo of sorts. Why is a Kennedy directed by Anurag Kashyap not getting a release date? A Monkey Man with Dev Patel getting banned? Or a Santosh does not get an Indian release date too? I think you're wise enough to know why that is happening. It's naive to believe that we live in a society where all thoughts are getting the opportunity to be showcased in the mainstream and get distribution in theatres. As Zoya Akhtar rightly said, the board is a certification body and films should be certified, not censored. Just like how Dhurandhar gets the opportunity to be seen in its raw and real sense, so should all stories across political and social spectrums. And that was the video, guys. Write down in the comments below what you think about the several topics that we have discussed about Dhurandhar in this video. Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram, the handles are right in front of you. Follow me at JammyPants4. Also, please support us by smashing the like button and subscribing to our channel for weekly content ahead. Thank you for watching.